Welcome back to Reading Discworld out of order, but with a baby this time, so I can't be criticized. Checkmate, atheists. I'm a dad, and sometimes the kids don't take naps at the same time. But I still gotta make videos, baby! Anyways, I've now read a good chunk of Discworld, and I thought it'd be fun to review them in the order that I've read them. I cannot stress enough, I've already done the reading out of order, so it's too late to tell me to do otherwise. Also, I wouldn't listen to you if you did. I'm a strong, independent dad who don't need no YouTube comments telling him what order to read Discworld in. Today we're talking about the 33rd published Discworld book, Going Postal, and it's one of my favorites. I'm also losing my voice, so forgive me if I sound funny.
Oh, he's technically Mexican and 3/4 American, but for 3 generations he's got that nationality. Great-great-grandpa headed south, whose kids had kids then turned around. It's not what the show's about, but it's why he's Mexican technically. He hopes that he was raised in New Mexico, lived in Guadalajara for 2 years, speaks fluent Spanish with a bachelor's degree in language, and makes a mean taquito.
Terry Pratchett's Discworld is a wonderful, satirical, comedic fantasy world setting in which he wrote like a billion different novels featuring a variety of different characters that he's created that are all funny. Now, some people might say, why would you want to read those out of order? And some people might respond to that. Maybe we don't all have time to read the entire discography. So maybe we just want to read the storylines that sound interesting to us. And that's the great thing about Discworld. If you want to commit to a bajillion books, go ahead, start from the beginning. It does start off kind of slow, but it gets better, and it's a wonderful ride. But if you're a regular Joe who doesn't have that kind of time commitment, the great thing about Discworld is you can pretty much jump in at any point and still have a good time. There are a bunch of different characters that all have their own books, and if you just do a little bit of research and find one that you find interesting, I guarantee you there is a Discworld book out there for everyone. And I think everyone should read just at least a little bit of Discworld. So the second book that I read from the series was the 33rd book to be published in the series, and it's called Going Postal. And whoo baba booey, it's a bang dang banger of a book. You're pulling my beard. Let go. It's that. No! You got it again! Sometimes this girl wants to see me dead. Anyway, Going Postal totally slaps. And it's my personal recommendation of where everyone should start if you can't commit to the whole series. Just read Going Postal. It is my favorite of all of the Discworld books I've read so far, and I think it's the most approachable to someone who's not familiar with the series. Going Postal is the story of a con man named Moist von Lipwig, which is the best name ever put to paper. And he does a bunch of steely stuff, but he gets caught and sentenced to death. But the leader of the greatest city in the world, Ankh-Morpork, is a crazy smart guy called Lord Vetinari, and he doesn't like wasting valuable resources. So rather than just executing Moist von Lipwig, he gives the man an opportunity. He tells Moist that he can either die or accept a job working for the patrician. And if he chooses to live, he'll have to wear like an ankle bracelet that monitors where he is always. And in this magical world, that translates to a sentient golem that doesn't have to sleep and eat and is magically tied to him so he knows where he is at all times and can hunt him down if he tries to run away. She's got my beard again! No! Anyways, he obviously chooses to not die, and he has to accept a job as the head of the post office. Now, the post office has long gone defunct with the invention of Discworld's equivalent of the telegram, which is called the Clax system. So people don't send letters anymore because it was a lot slower. But the Lord Vetinari wants to fix the postal system because he's enemies with the guy who runs the Clax, and he wants all the power. So Moist is stuck with this impossibly difficult job of beating a system with vastly superior technology and getting people to want to write letters again that people haven't done in a long time. And it's a hilarious book because the character Moist is still a con man at heart. So he approaches the job of being the Postal Service guy as a con man. And he's constantly still trying to con people while not getting in trouble. And it is the best hijinks of all time. After having read a bunch of Terry Pratchett's books, I've noticed that Terry Pratchett has this thing that he likes to do, which is super clever. He really likes to have the fish out of water experience with a character in a world that they don't understand, so that he has an excuse to explain all of the jokes and intricacies in his magical comedy world. But since everyone already lives in this world, the typical fish out of water format wouldn't really work. So what he frequently does is he takes a character and forces them into a new occupation, and it results in that same fish out of water experience that is so entertaining. And this baby literally just fell asleep standing up, which is great because now the girls are napping at the same time, but also not great because I can't move. I'm stuck like this until I'm done recording. So Moist von Lipwig, the con man, has to go straight edge and learn to fix the post office. Now, that may not sound very exciting, but it actually is. Because as Terry Pratchett describes in the book, in Discworld, letters are basically open-ended doors into the multiverse. Because a letter has the potential to change someone's life if they receive life-changing news. Every letter that's sent holds a bit of magic potential energy. And since the post office has stopped working for a long time, it's filled with piles and piles of undelivered letters, and all of that magic adds up. So the post office starts doing some funny magical things, and it's a wonderfully entertaining and hilariously charming story. On top of all that, Moist has to compete with the Clacks that's run by a bad guy who's trying to kill him, and also if he fails, Lord Vetinari can just execute him because he's a con man. He broke the law. So you've got this wonderful doomsday countdown clock built into the story, and it's just charming as heck. I really cannot praise this book enough. It's my favorite Discworld book so far, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. I love this book. Again, it's a wonderful place to start if you don't have time to read all of Discworld. At least, for the love of all that's holy, read Going Postal. My wife hates silly things. Frankly, it's a miracle that she married me, because I'm a silly boy. But I just got her to start reading Going Postal, and she really likes it so far. She hasn't finished. I'll update you on that. But I got her to start reading this book, and she even she likes it. So like it's very approachable. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here because I don't want to spoil any of this book for you. It's so immensely funny and just incredibly endearing and charming, and I can't think of enough good adjectives to describe this book. There is one pun in this book that is like, it's the greatest pun ever written, and it's so hilarious. I'll put it at the very end of the video so you can stop watching. I don't want to spoil it, but I also want to talk about it because it's so funny. So I'll end this video here, giving this book an obvious 10 out of 10, and you gotta get to the store and get you some Going Postal. It's different from it's not that kind of Going Postal. That's a different thing. Anyway, this is the end of the video. Bye. But stick around if you want to hear my favorite joke from the book. That's happening in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers, I warned you. My favorite part of the book is that the letters have all this magic energy, and Moist von Lipwig kind of becomes like a messiah figure as the person who will come in and save the post office. And because of all this pent-up potential energy, there's a point where he falls into a pile of letters, and they react to him, magically lifting him up in the air with letters swirling around him, and they speak in a unified voice, and they say, "Deliver us." because they're letters, and because he's their deliverer. It's such a good joke.